Garden and welcome to math. Today is an exciting day in math because we are beginning a brand new mod all about shapes. So today we're going to spend some time looking at some shapes. However, our math thinking job is all about I can find and identify flat shapes by their attributes. So we're going to be looking at shapes, but we're going to be spending time on their attributes, which means we're going to be looking at how we can describe how they look. So let's look at some vocabulary, some words that we will be using and hearing as we describe our flat shapes. So we're going to be looking at shapes that have curves, that are curved. We're going to be looking at shapes that are pointy, that have corners. And we're going to be looking at sides. So we're going to be looking at corners of shapes and sides. We're going to be looking at curved shapes and pointy shapes. So we're going to dive in, and I have a mystery bag of shapes. And I need your help to decide, is it a shape with curves or is it a shape with pointy? There might be shapes that I show you today that have curves and pointies, but we're going to focus on shapes that have curves and no curves. All right, curves, no curves. Are you ready? Here is my mystery bag. So get ready, get your spy eyes on, because you are detectives today and you are going to help describe these flat shapes. We'll talk more about what flat means in a little bit. Describe these shapes on their attributes, if they have curves or no curves. Here we go. Here's our first shape. Your teacher's going to pause the video and talk about, is this a shape that has curves or no curves? This shape has curves. This shape is a circle and it has curves. There are no pointy sides or corners on it at all. It is a curved shape. A curved shape means I could take this shape and just roll it around and it would roll, roll, roll. It's all the way around. Here's my next shape. Here we go. Your teacher's going to pause the video and talk about this shape. I mentioned earlier that we might see shapes that have curves and pointy. This shape has curves and it has points. This shape has curves and it has points. Let's do this one. Your teacher's going to pause the video and talk about this shape. Probably notice this shape has no curves. There are no round edges. There are no curves. I see pointy parts on this shape. We can call these corners and these straight lines sides. Straight lines are sides and these are called corners. This shape is a rectangle and it has no curves. Let's try this shape. Your teacher's going to pause the video. Is this a curve shape or no curve shape? You probably said this shape has no curves. There are no curves. I see pointy parts on this shape, but there are no curves. Let's try this shape. Your teacher's going to pause the video and talk about this shape. This is a tricky shape. However, there are no curves on this shape. There are a lot of pointy parts of this shape, but there are no curves. This shape. Your teacher's going to pause the video and discuss, is this shape have curves or no curves? This shape does have curves. There are curves over here, and there's curves over here. We can describe the attribute of this shape as having curves. Let's try this one. Your teacher's going to pause the video and discuss, does this shape have curves or no curves? This shape has no curves. I know this shape does not have curves as I see pointy corners on this shape and it's not round. A curve is a round and this has pointy corners. This shape is a square. Let's look at this shape. Your teacher's going to pause the video and decide, is this a shape with curves or no curves? This shape has no curves. These are all pointy points on the shape. Your teacher's going to pause the video and discuss, does this shape have curves or no curves? Remember, we talked about in the beginning how some of these shapes might have curves and pointy parts, and this shape has a curve and a pointy part. This shape has a curve and a pointy part. Now let's talk about what a flat shape is, because in this mod, we're going to talk about flat shapes, which are 2D shapes, and 3D shapes, which are objects you can see around your room. So if I take my circle and put it on the desk, it's flat. Nothing pops up. It's straight across the desk. It is flat. It is flat. Your teacher might pause the video and talk about more flat shapes by showing you how you can just take an object, this rectangle, and lay it down and it's flat. I can run my hand across it. It does not pop up. It's flat. I can lay it down, the shape down on my hand and it's flat. Just like I laid my circle down on my desk and it's flat. You're going to be detective. So put your detective hat on, your spy magnifying glass eyes on, and you are going to be looking around your room and finding objects in your room that has this flat shape on it. This flat shape is a rectangle, and you're going to look around and see what things in your room has a flat shape of a rectangle. Your teacher's going to pause the video. Wow, I'm sure you came up with tons of things. In my room, I can look at my phone, it has a rectangle. My iPad has a rectangle. The book Farm Animals is a rectangle. So many other rectangles in my room. Let's see what else. Okay, this is a triangle. You're going to look and spy eye around the room and see, are there any objects that have the flat shape of a triangle? I'm going to look around my room. All right, what did you find? I found my laminator has a triangle. It doesn't have a straight side, but this is the only rectangle I could find in my house. I'm sure you guys found so much more. Let's look for this shape. This shape is a circle, all curves. You're going to look around your classroom and see what objects in your classroom have this flat shape. What can I find? What did you find? I found this cup. The bottom of it has a circle. It's flat. I can run my hand across it. The bottom of my lotion is a circle. This candle lid is a circle. I'm sure you guys found tons of circles in your classroom. Let's look at this one. This shape is a square. I want you to look out in your classroom and find objects that have the flat shape of a square. And I'm going to do the same. Let's see. All right, what did you guys come up with? I have a Post-it note that's a square, and the book On the Farm is a square. I'm sure you guys found tons of things that have the flat shape of a square. We call them all faces. We'll learn more about faces in the future. Today in Seesaw, you are going to be focusing on sorting these shapes that are curved and no curves. Then you're going to be looking at these flat shapes and drawing a line to the objects that match the flat shape. All right, see you later.